end of this race. It's a third successive best lap of the race so far for Martin. 1:31.212. That was the first time where he was clearly a lot faster than Vinales in second. He took 4/10 out of Maverick in second spot, and already now nearly a second clear at the front.
Martin asking big questions of Vinales at the moment. Top Gun does not have the answers, running in second place, although he is still 1.8 seconds clear of Pecco Bagnaia, or at least the start of this lap. So for Marc Vinales, it might be a case of just managing what he's got.
Glued to the rear tyre of Vinales' factory Aprilia, but he just can't get it in there, can he? He hasn't yet been able to show Vinales his front wheel. Of course, taking nothing away from Vinales, who's riding a fantastic race himself, but this is what Fabio Quartararo tells us incessantly. He can run a great pace, but when he has to overtake, although here he comes with the corner speed through the fourth sector. This has been his sector all weekend. Again, though, he just can't quite get through. Vinales doing a sterling job here, desperately holding on. It's out, and we are racing in MotoGP in Indonesia. It's a really good start with Patrick H.M. by Brabham. And look at Jorge Martin. Martin from the back of the second row in sixth place. A sensational barnstorming start from the World Championship leader. He gets the whole shot. Martin leads here in Indonesia from six. Incredible.
Bagnaia is being aggressive on this first lap. Watching him further back, he's up at least 2 or 3 places. He's ahead of his teammate, he's ahead of Jack Miller, and he's ahead of Marco Bezzecchi.
How good is that upgraded Ducati launch device? How good is Jorge Martin off the line? Well, we just saw there a perfect illustration. One of the best starts you'll see in MotoGP. He launched away like a rocket, didn't he? Jorge Martin then leads, being hotly pursued by Maverick Vinales. Fabio Quartararo there in third place. Aleix Espargaro again has missed the start. The factory is putting that back in fifth.
Pecco Bagnaia is up 3 places, up into ninth place. Aleix Espargaro's first lap is getting worse as he goes wide. Bagnaia might gain another 2 places there on the inside of Marquez and Espargaro.
Around the outside and now through the third gear, turn 11 as Aleix Espargaro. He leans on the world champion Bagnaia. Marquez gets squeezed out of the marble as well. It's been a real bad first lap for the Repsol man, who's got at least further away than the sprint yesterday. Mascini runs wide. It is absolute carnage on this first lap here in Mandalika. Marco Bezzecchi is going backwards as well. At the front, it is Jorge Martin that leads, and he's 3/10 clear of Maverick Vinales. On the inside of Aleix Espargaro, that's Brad Binder.
That's Bagnaia, I think, defending from Aleix Espargaro. We've seen that early aggression, make no mistake, from Pecco Bagnaia, taking advantage as well of what's going on ahead of him. But Martin and Vinales away at the front, half a second clear of Quartararo. Then it's Marini, Binder, and Bagnaia, who's gained 7 places on the first lap.
Martin capitalising brilliantly on that new upgraded Ducati start device. He's got the soft front tyre and he knows he has to try and get clear air at the front of this Grand Prix, otherwise he might encounter some overheating issues with that front tyre. Bagnaia a little bit wide there, a little bit sluggish, a little bit scrappy in that first section. He does resist Aleix Espargaro, who again missed the start and has not been able to take advantage early on of that soft rear tyre. One of only 4 riders in this Grand Prix that went for the soft rear.
Quartararo offline there as he comes through and he changes direction. That's going to hurt him all the way down to turn number 10. Luca Marini's on the racing line. Quartararo on the inside. Bagnaia now looking to go through.
Marini gets green. Yeah, Marini's been collected. Marini then will not get the chance to serve his long lap penalty. He goes down at turn 10. I was just about to say, Marco Bezzecchi, we saw him getting pushed around and barged around on that first lap. He went down to 13th place from 9th. But now we've only got half of the Univr 46 Ducati team in this race. On the inside then comes Binder. I think Binder there was worried about running into the back of Quartararo. On the outside, there's nothing he can do. The luckless Luca Marini. Now then, this is the fight. Currently racing for third place. It's Quartararo from Bagnaia, from Aleix Espargaro.
This has been such a good, all the credit to Martin for his start to take the lead, but this has been a world champion's first couple of laps for Pecco Bagnaia, who is staring at the podium positions up ahead of him, with Fabio Quartararo running in third place. As Martin takes the fastest lap of the race, Vinales is going with him. Quartararo at the moment is not.
Vinales got to be careful though about the front tyre temperature pressure in that dirty air behind Martin. Quartararo at the moment fighting a great fight, as he so often does on that factory Yamaha. We've lost Paul Espargaro. That's a rather disconsolate trudge through the gravel trap, isn't it, for the man who sadly has lost his full-time seat in the Gas Tech 3 team next year. On board there with Marc Marquez, happy with that front end go there. Maybe just centimetres offline, dirty part of the track, and that spells trouble for Paul Espargaro. He's down. Frankie Morbidelli, apparently, yes, Frankie Morbidelli is pitted as well on the factory Yamaha, so early problems for him. So let's try and regroup, let's try and take stock. Martin, after his rocket sixth to first at the first corner. Martin then is the lead. Bagnaia second. Quattraro looking at in third place. Lombok with world champion Bagnaia, who in 2 laps has recovered 9 places. Sensational stuff by the world champion. It's going to get even better for him, isn't it? He slots on the inside of Quattraro through the third gear, turn 13. This is brilliant by Bagnaia. It's taken him, what, 2 3/4 laps to get himself from 13th to 3rd.
Aleix Espargaro immediately relegates Quattraro down to 5th. Aleix Espargaro knows he's got to make a ground early on. Quattraro is trying to relegate him back again. That's brave and bold from the 2021 world champion who releases it again. Aleix Espargaro knows with that soft rear tyre he needs to make up ground in the first half of this race and then manage that tyre towards the end.
Another fastest lap of the Grand Prix early on here then for Martin, 1:31.619. The Binder Marini is currently under investigation for the yellow. Quattraro runs in hot then in the first corner. That allows Brad Binder to ease on through. Asami, you're watching closely that incident turn 10 early on with Binder and Marini. What do you make of it?
Yeah, I mean, it's clearly Binder's crash, you know, but I just want to explain what happened. I'm sure about this. He pulled out to pass and would have pulled the pass off. The problem is, I've been in exactly the same situation. When you get by and then you realise you need that extra bit of room to run wide, like often happens, another metre, and there's someone there. You know, there's someone so close in front that you realise, oh no. So he was trying to go for the gap between and took Marini out.
Yeah, he was charging in hot there. We saw the onboard actually start while we were listening to your thoughts there. He was certainly running at a pretty hot pace into that turn number 10 on the outside with nothing he could do with Luca Marini. So yesterday he was the victim, wasn't he, Brad Binder, and Aleix Espargaro took him out at turn 16. Today, the perpetrator, Brad Binder, who is currently in 5th place. We're looking ahead to the world champion, Pecco Bagnaia, who is putting together one of the best rescue missions we've seen in the season so far. 13th to 3rd in the space of 2.5 laps, just showing his absolute class. Brilliant stuff this by Bagnaia. Looking back then to Aleix Espargaro, who has not been able to take full advantage of that soft rear tyre early on. How will that cost him towards the back end of this race? It's a 3rd successive best lap of the race so far for Martin, 1:31.212. That was the first time where he was clearly a lot faster than Vinales in second. He took 4/10 out of Maverick in second spot, and already now nearly a second clear at the front.
Martin asking big questions of Vinales at the moment. Top Gun does not have the answers, running in second place, although he is still 1.8 seconds clear of Pecco Bagnaia, or at least he wasn't the start of this lap. So for Maverick Vinales, it might be a case of just managing what he's got and trying to hold on to that podium position. Brad Binder has a long lap penalty. No real surprise with that one. It looked from our vantage point as if Binder was the guilty party there. He will be coming through the long lap penalty loop, along with Marini, of course, who still has to serve his long lap penalty. Now he has rejoined this race.
You know that some people inside Red Bull KTM are going to be going, well, hang on a minute, did we get taken out by Aleix Espargaro yesterday? There was no sanction coming away at the factory pretty bad. There is Aleix Espargaro at the moment doing his best to try and hang in there with Pecco Bagnaia. Through we come then through turn 13 and hard right through the 4th gear, 100 km at 8 km an hour 4th gear. This is where Aleix Espargaro on the off the racing line, off the dirty part of the circuit there, slammed into the side of Binder in the sprint yesterday. So Binder getting a long lap penalty due to irresponsible riding. Through the final corner we go then. Aleix Espargaro starting to really build the pressure here on Bagnaia, who could be slipping off the podium. Martin then, 31.423, and again he's just by far got the superior speed. Now he's got 1.5 seconds clear of Vinales. Vinales has dropped back into the 1:32s. Bagnaia was a little bit wide there through turn 1, and Aleix Espargaro all over his rear tyre now.
The last lap of Binder now comes in for his long lap penalty. It will be him offering the apologies this time, as opposed to what we saw yesterday against Vinales having the pole man last time around at 32.0, which saw him lose half a second to both Martin and the pack behind him. Bagnaia now 1.3 behind Vinales, or he was before he fell on Simon Owens turn 1.
Binder drops back in behind Francesco then into 10th place. We lost 2 or 3 seconds. So, of course, I'm sure there are going to be some people in Red Bull KTM who might be sort of questioning why Brad Binder has got, well, or why Aleix Espargaro wasn't penalised yesterday for the Binder contact. You've got some thoughts on that one as well?
Oh, purely because Aleix crashed and then his machine took out, you know, it's poor old Binder. But the thing is, if that had happened, if Brad had crashed and his bike had taken out Marini, he wouldn't have had a penalty either. But if you ride into the side of someone, that that's where the penalty comes.
Thanks very much for that, Simon. Back at the front, Jorge Martin just stabilising that 1.5 second advantage he has over Vinales. This is a real intense battle, isn't it? Luca Marini then, he pulls in, he has completed the long lap. And I guess after the crash as well, there's obviously no chance he was going to score points. Absolutely nothing to gain, lots to lose. So he's just decided, and a long lap penalty complete. He's parked the Mooney VR46 Ducati, rest up and recuperate and recover more for Australia next weekend. So still been a superb weekend for Marini, despite the late disappointment. His first ever MotoGP pole yesterday, and the Tissot sprint second, and he'll be back bigger, better and stronger next time out in Australia.
It was clearly a mistake for Vinales on that last lap that saw him lose that time, because he was straight back into the 131s last time around. He set his personal best lap last time. Let's take another look at the start and watch Martin left of picture from that second row. This gets it beautifully hooked up as the lights go out. He's already now alongside Binder. Spargaro hits reverse as he did yesterday, and even before he hits the brakes for turn one, Martin is clear in the lead.
Tell you what, Nash will be contacting Ducati, won't they? Because that is a rocket launch off the line. We know that Ducati recently have given Jorge Martin and Pecco Bagnaia this upgraded start device. Well, it is working, an absolute treat, isn't it? What a sensational start that was by Jorge Martin, and he has capitalised to the maximum on it. He's quickly broken the early challenge that was being posed and thrown at him by Vinales. There is Luca Marini. Look, the massive ice pack has gone straight on that left collarbone. Last thing he needed was another whack on the tarmac after the Binder contact, and you think quite wisely he has decided to take no further part in what was going to be a very long 25 laps. It was going to be a long 25 laps even if it had stayed upright, but Luca Marini has decided to sit this one out with the remainder of his Indonesian Grand Prix out. He'll be back next time out.
Personal best for both Vinales and Bagnaia last time around, although they were still slower than Martin, who did a 1:31.2 to extend his lead to 1.7 seconds. Bagnaia, if he can get out of this with 20 points for second place, he will consider that a very good salvage job. Still a long way to go. We're only coming up to 1/3 distance in this race, with Bagnaia able to pull 3/10 of a second extra out on Alex Espargaro last time around. As we watch Brad Binder now trying to poke back through the field. He's the second of the KTMs in this picture in this group, led by Miguel Oliveira. At the back of this group was Marc Marquez, who had a poor 7th lap as he lost 2 places both to Binder and to Breathtaking.
This is a real big group fighting for 6th place. It's currently being led by last year's rain master in Mandalika, Oliveira. He's 6th. He's got Miller, Breathtaking, Binder and Marquez for company. Not too far back of that group as well. These two, Nakagami and Fabio and Antonio, fighting for his MotoGP future. Of course, the Indonesian Ducati man having been bumped out for the 8 times world champion. There's somebody down there. Somebody's got Marquez. I was going to say, just saw a puff of dust, a cloud of debris, and it's Marc Marquez who has a miserable Mandalika Grand Prix. Listen to the groans from the fans in the background there. It's an unlucky turn 13 for Marquez. Didn't even complete the lap in yesterday's Tissot sprint, and he's bailed off on lap 8 here in Indonesia today. No points for Marc Marquez. And now 2 big reasons why he feels like he has no choice but to walk away from HRC next season and build his career back up at Ducati.
2 in 2 days for Marc Marquez. What more can I do? It looks like he's saying to the heavens there, well, Marc Marquez's race is over. Takeo Nakagami has also dropped 8 place on this lap as Antonio now moves into the top 10. Nakagami, though, is still leading Honda uncertainty now with Marquez out of play. On board then with Brad Binder. We look at the sole remaining Mooney VR46 Ducati. Of course, Brad Binder's already made contact with the other one in this race, with Luca Marini now out of this race. Benzecchi will already surely be thinking of the pain that's going through his collarbone. He's made thought he's trying to get past Jack Miller on the way to turn 10, but Miller laid it up on the brakes before he tied up.
Right way through there. There's been some drama with the Rebel KTM, the video 46 already at that turn 10, the instant with Binder and Marini. Unfortunately for 93, that was crash 23 on the 2023 season for Marc Marquez. He is down and out then of this Mandalika Grand Prix. Oliveira then resisting Jack Miller at the front of this battle for 6th place. And there he is, just look at that, a face, a pose of pure frustration, pure dejection from Marc Marquez as Miller picks picks up Oliveira in the final corner. These two had a good fight early on in the rain here last year in Mandalika, didn't they? Through Miller goes then on the carbon fibre chassis KTM. He now sits in that 6th place. Fabio Quartararo is an excellent rider because he's just got another PB lap of this Grand Prix, a 1:31.5. That was slightly quicker than Espargaro. Oliveira's race going from bad to worse. The Bezzecchi picks him off. That's getting really, really tight, isn't it? She's building, isn't it, on Bagnaia?
Down to 0.4 of a second now. Bagnaia is obviously clearly managing his tyres much better than he did in the spring yesterday for obvious reasons. But Bagnaia wouldn't be letting this pair get that close to him on purpose. So Bagnaia clearly dealing with whatever grip he's got. Of course, we need to remind ourselves again, Bagnaia's come through from 13th on the grid. So has he taken enough out of his tyres and saved enough for these final 2.5 laps?
We've seen on so many occasions this year a man who's so phenomenal at defending, is so hard to overtake. It is Pecco Bagnaia. It's going to be one thing for Vinales and Quartararo to squeeze onto his rear tyre. It's going to be another thing to squeeze past the man in P1 at the moment. 2 laps to go here then in Indonesia. The gap down to just 0.6 of a second between Bagnaia and Vinales. Just under 0.8 of a second splitting your top 3. Still Fabio Di Antonio, of course, for an excellent career best 4th place there. He's 4 seconds clear of Brad Binder.
Marco Bezzecchi has just set his personal best lap of the race back in 6th. A 1:31.351. That is 4/10 quicker than Bagnaia's going out front. Marco Bezzecchi, it will be the most heroic 6th place that anyone will ever take in the MotoGP race. He is doing a stunning job.
This is the perfect illustration of what Fabio Quartararo repeatedly tells the media, repeatedly tells the fans, isn't it? When he can run the pace of the best riders in this field, when he's overtaken, there's been an issue, isn't it? I mean, how long has he been sat glued to the rear tyre of Vinales' factory Aprilia? But he just can't get it in there, can he? He hasn't yet been able to show Vinales his front wheel. Of course, taking nothing away from Vinales, who's riding a fantastic race himself. But this is what Fabio Quartararo tells us incessantly. He can run a great pace, but when he has to overtake, although here he comes with the corner speed through the 4th sector. This has been his sector all weekend. Again, though, he just can't quite get through. Vinales doing a sterling job here, desperately holding on for that second. We're about to start the final lap. 4.3 kilometres. Pecco Bagnaia is away from one of the biggest wins of his Grand Prix career. Under immense pressure he was coming into this Mandalika battle. He lost the World Championship for the first time since the end of April in Jerez. But he's about to punish Jorge Martin to the absolute max here in Mandalika. He starts the last lap, a second clear of Vinales.
Yeah, it was a crucial lap back for Bagnaia as Vinales was preoccupied with Quartararo behind him in a 32.0. Bagnaia was able to eat that lead back up to over a second. So even if Quartararo was able to take this 2nd place on this final lap, there is no time remaining for him to catch Pecco Bagnaia, who just needs to make sure that he is mistake-free on this final lap. What can Quartararo do about passing Vinales? He's been staring at the back of that Aprilia for a number of laps now. He'll be trying to work out how he can get through. Turn 10 might well be his best opportunity, but he's not close enough.
31.6 on lap 26 from Bagnaia. Well, that is just mind-blowing pace. This late on, it looks like he is going to hold off Vinales and Quartararo. We're all eyes, and aren't we now, on the former factory MR teammates. Vinales then, they power through turn 12. 3rd gear, 130 kilometers an hour. They drop down and then slightly off camber through turn 13. It looks like Pecco Bagnaia has got this one covered. Vinales desperately holding on here for 3rd place. Is Quartararo going to go on? Is he not going to be close enough? But Pecco Bagnaia with 2 corners remaining here in Indonesia, with Jorge Martin down and out of a 3-second lead. Through the final corner we go. Bagnaia almost at walking pace as he comes over the line. But it's a monumental, a massive victory in Mandalika for Pecco Bagnaia.